Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Oh, let me get it right. Before we jump onto the charts, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. I'm just an idiot here yapping on YouTube about trading for entertainment purposes only. Of course, not a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Also read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures and code RDF. Let's hop on to the charts. See what we got rolling this morning. It is FOMC day. We should be in for something, if not this morning, later this afternoon for sure. We will take a look at that. Let's take a look at that right off the bat as we're letting this market start to open up here on the 1 minute chart. Take a look at what happened overnight. We'll do some analysis, but first and foremost, if you guys leave with nothing else today, let it be that it is FOMC federal funds rate at 2 p.m. That rate drops. That is traditionally a major market mover, along with the corresponding 2:30 p.m. FOMC press conference where Jerome Powell speaks, answer questions. Like NFP and some other large news events, this one tends to be a market mover. I don't try to anticipate, if you guys have been around for a while, you know how I handle news. I don't try to anticipate which way the market's going to move, what it's going to do, what the news is going to be, none of that stuff. I'm just aware when the events are and to decide how I want to handle that potential for increased volatility. Do I want to trade through it? Do I want to avoid it altogether? I also take into consideration what that traditionally means for the market before and after those events, right? So traditionally, before, morning of, or the day before a FOMC news event, we are likely to see some chop. We can see some increased volatility because there is oftentimes positioning ahead of the event, right? Maybe people are anticipating it to come in above forecast or to stay the same, and they anticipate the market's going to interpret that and react in a certain way. So they position themselves ahead of time. But watching, the market play out month over month, what I tend to see ahead of major red folder news events is choppy markets, consolidation, rangy type movements, expansion, contraction, that type of a deal. Does it mean that we won't get a beautiful trend day all the way up until 2 p.m.? No, it's happened before. If you go back, I'm sure you'll find that. But slightly more often than not, maybe what I see is a little bit of a choppy consolidating day. So how do I use that in my trading? Will I not take, directional based trades? No, I'll just say I have a slight understanding, very slight understanding, that this is something that I see slightly more often than not. And I won't be surprised if the market is choppy or, kind of wicky back and forth, consolidating, right? Kind of chopping around, maybe near VWAP. So that's the thought process. But again, guys, if you're leaving nothing else, be aware 2 p.m. and then 2:30 p.m. Don't ruin your account. Don't, have a terrible Wednesday here because you left a trade on into FOMC or you were trading at 2:45 and Jerome was answering questions and, you just were not prepared for it. If you want to trade through it, do your thing. There's plenty of opportunity with that increased risk, but be aware of it. The last thing you want to do is just not be aware of it. So that's how I'm starting the morning off. Aware of FOMC. Now, let's go ahead and drop out to the daily. Take a quick look. Again, I don't use this high of a time frame, in my 1 minute decision making, but I like to be aware day over day, just have a frame of reference as what's going on from the higher time frame picture here on ES. This is the ES chart on Top 1 Futures. We are here on Project X. If you guys want to check this out, link is in the chat. 55% off is ending soon. Remember, I'm affiliated, I'm partnered, I cannot be unbiased. So kind of an interesting daily candle forming here, right? We got a real long wick to the upside, like really gnarly wick to the upside, cracked above prior day high. That was really like right at the open, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't trade the overnight session. And then we've since retraced. We've, gotten back down below VWAP and, we've kind of sold off into this open here. We're seeing some selling pressure coming into the open. So let's take a look at what this looks like on the lower time frame. Again, we kind of just been chopping around up here, pulling back off this high that we put in. This was looking really, really bullish all the way up through this close. This week Day over day, we've been selling off. New York session's been kind of back and forth choppy if you've been, here watching it with me or trading it yourself. So interested to see what we do here. I could see this start to fill back out, chop around VWAP. I could see us come and, put a wick in. You don't have a wick to the downside on this candle, which is very interesting. Is there like zero wick? Yeah, like no wick to the downside. So I could see us, come down and fill that out today, maybe before this news drops. But let's drop down to the lower time frames now that we kind of got a picture from the higher time frame, taking a look at what we are doing on the 15-minute. Selling off overnight. It was a crazy pop back up after a sell-off into the close. Very, very big volatile move, and then chop, right? We got up here, reset VWAP, chopped around VWAP, no big directional movement overnight through Asia and London. Again, this is zoomed out on the 15-minute chart. Coming into pre-market here, we've been selling off. We're selling off into the open. We came down. We just put the low of the session in on this 15-minute candle here. And kind of an indecisive candle right now. Looks like we want to maybe come back up and test the highs, but just kind of back and forth. Definitely volatile. Definitely what I would classify as some volatility, right? We're getting some movement. It's not this really, really calm open. We are aggressively trading back and forth. You can just see how these candles are printing. Not a huge range that we've set so far. This is our 930 range so far, all the way up until 940. About a 14-point range that we're trading in, but very back and forth, like rapid back and forth price movements, right down around here near the open. So objectively, just what am I seeing? And then my opinion on top of that. Below VWAP, we've already cracked above prior day high. We are kind of dead set in between yesterday's candle. Here's prior day high. Here's prior day low. Chopping around down below VWAP with some volatility. I don't have an amazing play setting up just yet. If I take a look at book map as well, we do have liquidity on the book, mainly up above price, and I have that marked right here. We got some large levels on the book up above price. We got some stuff changing coming into the open, so I will show you guys what we're looking at. But right now, closer than that, we've got the 30s right below. We got buy orders sitting there that was on before market open, and we have the 650s up above price, headed up towards VWAP here. So we'll take a look and see if we start to crack to the upside and get back above VWAP. I don't know that I want to look short on this right off the bat. I'd probably let it come. I'd probably let it come quite a bit above VWAP. Maybe come and check out, the highs of this area consolidation, somewhere up into the 60s. I don't know that I would want to immediately go for a VWAP rejection, but it could be a play back down to this area of high volume. To the downside, if we start selling off, of course, a short could be in play, but I'm not going to take this thing short right off the bat today. I wouldn't, even on a just aggressive sell-off right here, I wouldn't be looking short on this. If we came back up really aggressively and then continued to trail to the downside, I wouldn't mind looking short. Longs from down here, if you consider that us coming back up to VWAP, could absolutely be a play. But I'm going to be cautious on trading this, really directionally, looking for a huge sell-off to occur. But again, a move back down to this level could be in store, which is this is just made for silly structure, right? This type of crack to the upside made for some really ridiculous structure to trade off of, looking at what this daily candle looks like. So this will be interesting. But kind of just framing my thought process, I could see a short on a retest, maybe up above VWAP. Kind of a same kind of play that I was looking for yesterday. Really aggressively long off the 30s. You could look for something like that as well. But I'm going to let this open up a little bit. I'm probably going to wait for the 945 to start trading this bad boy. And we'll kind of go from there. But I appreciate you guys hopping on. Let me check the stream. See what we got going on with you guys here.
Order filled.
Yeah, let's check out, adjusting a couple things. Let's check out Bookmap here in a minute. See what we got running. See what we got running on that bad boy. We have, and I'll check you guys in the chat, say what's up. So we're coming up into these 650s. Like I said, if I zoom out, two levels I have marked on my chart, on my candlestick chart, are up here at this 5,700 level. If I zoom in, you'll actually see that's actually at 5,700. And then down here around the 5688, 5689. If I zoom in, I think it's 88. Down closer to price. Down closer to price, obviously we have the 650s, big round psychological number, but you can see liquidity on the book has stayed there. We got close to the 630s, but we didn't want to take it. Sellers did not want to take it lower. After this fills, if we don't really see some continuation up through VWAP, really starting to push to the upside, based on all of this being down here, I could see a quick move back down to sweep lows. Come and check out the 30s, maybe the 25s. Obviously, we do have even more to the downside, not as heavy as what's up above, but we still do have some liquidity that could carry us lower. Kind of an even spread, right? Not like we have nothing on one side and big stacks of orders all the way up to one level. We've got some stuff that's close. After that fills, this is quite a ways away, 50 points. And then to the downside, it is a little bit closer. So I could see us going to fill this. We start to come aggressively back down towards the 30s. I think we're going to tag that, maybe trading through the 20s. But yeah, we're really not actually filling these out. We got real close to the 30, rejected right there. If we start pulling that stuff today, I'm going to get a little bit more cautious of how I'm going to utilize looking at these levels, right? If we start to do this where we get really close and we just do not go and fill, I anticipate that may continue to happen. Same way where if we are continuing to push through levels of liquidity, I'm going to anticipate the same thing happening, right? Just simple pattern recognition. So don't need 47 of the same charts up. Yeah, so we'll watch this. We'll watch this on the candlestick chart again. Trading above the 50s through that level of liquidity, up through VWAP, I could see a rejection back down to this area, right? We obviously wanted to hang out down here for quite a while. I could see an aggressive short. Now, I played this yesterday. Didn't work too nicely for me on the first trade. Took a really similar one after I hopped off the live, and it ended up being a partial winner. End of the day, like down like 250 or 275. So I could see the same type of a deal, just being a rejection of VWAP. I don't know that I would take it right off VWAP. I would look for a crack towards those 55, 60s before maybe a rejection back down to this level, get me a better entry price. Conversely, if we start to just blast through this, we really just start to continue to the upside and erase a lot of this move, I could be cautious. I'm not going to take a short from down here below VWAP. I don't think that would be a good play, especially with liquidity at the 50s. Past that 9:15 opening range, 9:45 opening range, 15-minute opening range. But I like the liquidity down here to the 30s. We got so damn close, we didn't grab it. Interesting. Let's let this open up. See what the market has for us today. While we do that, we'll say what's up. What's going on, guys? Ralph, Coop, Jenny, Nove, Kelmber, Iron, I can hardly pronounce your guys' names. Dre, Ryan, Frank, John D. What is going on, guys? What's going on? Appreciate you being here. Smash like, smash subscribe. We're back at it. Seeing if we can't make some damn progress. Morning is 2:30 p.m. for me. I appreciate you. Zachy rock a tomahawk hairstyle. Yeah, I used to have a mohawk back in the day. Skin on the sides and a mohawk, man. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, watching you, Zach. Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do today. It's been kind of just for me this week pretty uneventful. I've ended both days small red in these accounts across 3. I think it was like 240 something down on the first day after 2 trades, 275 yesterday. So not a whole lot this week. It was back and forth the week before. Green with you guys, some nice solid green, but let's see what we can do today. We'll put our trades on, let the market play out. That's all we can do. Ooh, look at that. Lot of, oh man. Came up, didn't, just tapped the 50s. Really didn't trade into it. The liquidity's still in the book on Bookmap, 114 lots. Aggressive reaction to the downside there. Yeah, man, this is dicey stuff. This is dicey. It was dicey at the open, right into the open, and that's obviously on some, or we don't know, nothing obvious. But typically when we get that kind of movement, it's on some kind of underlying comments from somebody, Trump saying something, you know, some news event, some commentary from somebody important at the Fed. Gnarly rejection after trading towards the 50s, all the way back down to session lows in the blink of an eye here on the 1 minute chart. This is dicey, guys. Be cautious. Be really cautious. You know, again, we are pre-FOMC. We're pre-FOMC, right? So we oftentimes see back and forth choppy price action like we're seeing so far. It can also be fairly volatile like this. Hey, just 1 second, guys. Back in action with you guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, volatile wiki movement. Volatile wiki movement. Yeah, this is interesting. Looks like we want to come right back up after that one. I'm gonna hang tight on this, guys. For right now. I think you're going to assume why. Very volatile, a lot of movement back and forth. This can start to get really dicey to trade. I'm going to look for trades, but I'm not going to jump into anything too aggressively. You can see why I look at these days, especially into the open, a little less directionally. The way that I'm trading this 1 minute chart, honestly, is pretty focused on reversions, reversal style setups, or at least very aggressive entries when we're looking at directional movement. But this has been very choppy, right? Here's our session so far, which I like to do every once in a while. That's what we're working with right now, guys. Below VWAP, wicking back and forth very aggressively. A lot of volume on that move all the way to the downside, and then immediate rejection back up. This is interesting. We cracked to the downside. I could see a buy, but after not filling the 30s and rejecting, that could be less appetizing. Again, we come up to the upside and trade into the 55s. I could see a really aggressive short playing out. I'd probably wait. I'd probably wait for us to come through VWAP, trade higher, and then come back down. Buyers not want to let this thing go lower, though. I will acknowledge that. A lot of selling volume on some of these initial movements, and then buyers buying it right back up. Gun to my head, I'm long towards VWAP. I don't think that we blast through this level. We hit the 30s and continue lower. I could definitely see us selling off towards the 20s, but gun to my head, I'm long towards the 55s. But I don't have a gun to my head, and I don't want to get involved in the middle of this chop. So let's see what we get here. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yo. Thank you for trading ES. Saw your IG in Tampa. And glad you favored ES over HQ. Awesome. Yeah, if you were in Tampa, welcome to the show. It was such an awesome weekend last weekend. Met so many good people. Great traders. Felt like a mastermind. It was just really cool to be surrounded by like your people. Somebody that was commenting from the crowd said it's really cool. You finally feel like you're surrounded by your people, and that was really cool, really cool. But yeah, I like ES. Just a preference, right? NQ is obviously the crowd favorite with the futures traders, the indice traders. I find it very difficult to work with. I'm enticed by the volatility and the volume, and I found myself going back to continue to test different things on it, but it's very difficult to work with, in my humble opinion. Just for me personally, it's very volatile, very wicky. It can be difficult to work with. ES seems to be a little bit slower, a little bit calmer. I can drop down to a low time frame like this and not have a heart attack every 5 seconds. Maybe not today. It seems to respect levels a little bit cleaner. Doesn't pull as much of these crazy wick out, sweep type moves. But it's preference, right? Somebody else might say, no, ES is like watching paint dry, and it never gives me my entry, and it never moves enough in my favor. Definitely going to be preference. Jumping on a bit late. What's going on? What was that sudden move to the downside? Yeah, what was that? You tell me, guys. FOMC shenanigans, perhaps. Didn't see news or anything. Keep your wrist tight today, folks. What would you be your predictions for this FOMC? So, Raja, man, I will talk about my news. The way that I use fundamentals. No predictions. No predictions. I could care less what the last rate was, what the current rate is. This is going to be different than a lot of traders. Some guys say, how could you say that? You spend your day all day trading the U.S. indices. I spent a lot of time in my past life as an unprofitable trader trying to understand the fundamentals, trying to predict what the Fed was going to do, and then how the market was going to react to what the Fed was going to do. And I found it was an enormous amount of wasted time and mental energy because I could never get it right. And even if I did get it right, it wouldn't really matter. I was taking too much time away from the technicals that I was really utilizing in my trading and placing it in some what's happening behind the scenes type of a deal. You're never, in my humble opinion, you're never going to be able to react to it fast enough if you're anticipating something, unless you are going to get in ahead of time and then just anticipate it. And then the market so often doesn't do what it's quote unquote supposed to do, right? Like everybody and their mother could say, if this happens, if the Fed does this with the rate, then that's good and the market should go up. And I watched so many times, the market just tanks. And then everybody comes in after the fact and goes, oh, well, because it was good this time, that's what happened here. So for me personally, not focusing on fundamentals really outside of just when the events are, what's happening around them, and keeping my focus technical has helped me in my trading. I'm never quick enough, and I can never get it right. And even if you do get it right, what happens and how price moves on a chart to get to whatever it's supposed to be doing going up is just not that helpful to me. So that's my humble opinion. A lot of guys do use news. They pay attention to this stuff. Outside of, what I'm doing in, my investment brokerage and long-term, equity stuff, I really just don't pay too much attention. Like I talked about this morning, I'm aware of when it is, right? 2 p.m. I know we have FOMC. I know Jerome Powell speaking afterwards, 2:30. That pretty much kills the rest of the trading day. I anticipate a rapid increase in volatility around that time. Whether it goes up or down or how much that volatility is, that's not what I try to predict. I also anticipate what happens before and after in general from a technical standpoint. From a technical standpoint, in general, and this is just basic pattern recognition, you can go back through and back test, what I see ahead of red folder news events is slightly more often than not, more choppy consolidation, rangy price action. After news events occur and the market receives that data for whatever reason, right? Like just being a pattern recognition type of a technical trader, we often see directional movement, right? The market seems to move more directionally. We can get larger trend days after that movement. But that's my thought process. Again, I think trying to predict the news, man, I don't know. I used to watch just guys that were, multi-decades, whose only job is to talk about what the Fed is doing and what the, economy, the US economy and geopolitics, or how all of that comes together and what should happen and what that means for the market. And they would get it wrong week after week after week. So, for me, I'm like, I probably don't stand a chance just looking at a couple rates and maybe, watching CNBC for a little bit and trying to utilize that in my trading. As we're watching this market test VWAP, don't have a setup just yet, guys. Again, I'd be looking short if we crack above this, maybe for a move back down. I'm going to watch as we come up on this. But along with that, what I ask a lot of guys are, when you go to backtest, if you backtest, because some guys don't backtest, but when you go to backtest a system, a strategy, an approach, are you backtesting the news? Are you backtesting what you thought was going to happen when you're on whatever time frame you're backtesting on TradingView or whatever other platform, and you're utilizing that bias, that information that you're holding in your mind into your trading? If not, you probably shouldn't be using it when you're actually trading, because now you're adding an uncertain, untested variable in there. So, I find that's where a lot of guys struggle as well. If we really get technical with it, they'll backtest a system, right? Very technical, using different indicators, different tools, order flow, whatever, and it works great. And then they come to trade it live, and they don't realize that their execution's trash because they're paying attention to, what somebody's saying on CNBC, or they're watching some, other person trading. Maybe it's me and I'm influencing you, in a positive or negative way. But they're taking into consideration all of this other information that they didn't have when they were testing their system, and it's influencing their trading and it's jacking it up. So, that's another thought process. A lot of guys backtest. They don't use news. When it comes to trading live, they got 47 news outlets playing in the background, and what some talking head is saying that morning is jacking up their trading. So, ask yourself that question. If you're doing that, if it's helping you or hurting you. So that was my long rant on news, how I pay attention to it and utilize it. If you guys want to check it out, forexfactory.com. That's the financial news site that I use just to stay up on what's going on. You also have it right here within Project X. They also show up on the chart right down here. You have different news events giving you alert. This would be the little lightning bolt sign. This would be the FOMC at 2 p.m. and then the press conference, red folder, at 2:30 p.m. Yeah, so super choppy. We're starting to get some movement to the upside, right? Failed to come down and break this low. We're getting higher highs and higher lows put into VWAP. I don't trust this for a move to the upside as long as I can watch this choppiness play out. I'd be looking at a short, an aggressive short here, guys. I just don't think that we're going to run. I don't think we're going to break out to the upside and run today. Again, I think we could fill some of that, daily candle out, but it's forming quite silly looking with this price action, right? Like no wick to the downside, huge wick to the upside, and then, we retraced it all the way. But I'm looking at a 1 minute chart. The way that I'm going to look to trade this would be aggressively short, cracking up above VWAP. I probably want to take it, as we're headed towards yesterday's high. I'm not going to look long right through VWAP, although that is a play. Maybe long through VWAP if we pulled one of these moves, like we're maybe trying to do right here. We came all the way back down, and then started to come up again really aggressively. Somewhere we pulled something like this, that would really give some indication that we do want to move higher. With some force, we would get a sustained move, maybe. But that's my interpretation of this price action market structure. Choppy, difficult to work with. Right back to VWAP. Like I said, gun to my head long towards 50s. As we were dancing around down here. Not something I would really want to put on, but let's watch how this starts to play out. Okay, so just looking at Bookmap with you guys, also kind of framing this trade idea. We have left this on the book. This could definitely be a problem for later. But so far, if we continue to head to the upside, I don't know that I would want to look short right here off of VWAP when we have a couple hundred on the book up above. So 60, 65, I could see that filling and not just blasting to the upside through all of this. Oh, wow, we actually got the 680, 88, 89 that came off the book. I don't know that we run towards 700 before we reject a little bit. So I could see us coming up towards this 65 and look for an aggressive short after filling some liquidity up here. If we start to just chop around here, it's going to get dicey to trade this, but that's my first thought process. Would be short off like the 65s, something really aggressive. It would be counter to what we're seeing so far for this session, but it would be in line with a little bit of the higher time frame sell-off that we saw into the morning, and in line with the choppiness that we've been seeing, rather than just trading it as a directional day right off the bat to the upside. To the downside here, again, so I wouldn't get short here. I could definitely see us potentially rejecting off of VWAP here, not trading out the 60s, 65s, headed back down to the 30s. Again, this is right below session lows that we put in. We got real close a couple times here, but this is obviously buyers on the book that have maintained that, that spot right there. So I could see us trading towards or potentially through that to the downside. We come down there, I might trade it really aggressively long. I might test a long down there. So that's my kind of the levels that I'm watching. All the way down below session lows if we were going to move lower, to look for a long, and then above session high, above session high, 60, 65 to look for a short aggressively. But right now we're just dancing a VWAP. Looks like we want to come through, making higher lows into it. It does look like we want to go and check it out. Move through it, not check it out. We're checking it out right now. Yeah, looks like we're getting the VWAP rejection right here. Getting that VWAP rejection so far. Interesting. While I'm hanging out waiting for this trade, I'm going to go ahead and plug Top 1 Futures. Guys, if you don't know, I'm partnered and affiliated with Top 1 Futures. They are the straight-to-funded, instant-funded prop firm. This deal, this 55% off plus anytime payouts free, is ending in a couple days. I think it's on the 9th, the end of the day on the 9th. This is ending in a couple days. It's the most aggressive deal that they ran so far. Code RDF is the code that gets you this, not the one that's on the site. That'll get you 50 off. But code RDF gets you the best deal, 55% off. You can get into a straight to funded account, $150K for like $360, something around that level, $6,000 of max loss limit. Anytime payout where as long as you meet the consistency and the profit target to actually be able to take it, the buffer required, you can pull $3,500 out of the account. So really, really solid opportunity. I'm super bullish on it. Again, I can't stand to be unbiased because I'm partnered, I'm affiliated, I stand to make money, but super, super bullish on this. They paid out over $1 million in the first month. They've already got a trade or two live. It's the fastest I've ever seen for a firm move a trader live from the time that they opened up. The dude's been pulling money out of the account like an absolute animal. Obviously, he can trade. Yeah, along with that, they were ranking in like the top 3 or 5 on payout junction. But do your own research. Make your own decisions. Super bullish here. Trading 3 of them, which is the max you can copy trade on Project X, the platform that I know and love. I love to have an instant funded option on Project X. Don't want to waste time in evals if I don't have to. So take a look at that if you want to. If not, hang out here with me. Or don't, man. Free means free. And if you're hanging out here with me, feel free. Smash like, smash subscribe. Hop in the free Discord. The 100% free Discord is right here. How can we find out more about the trader that went live? What do you want to know? What would you like to know about the trader that went live? I can give you what I've seen so far. But he's all over Twitter if you want to find out. If you're looking to, most people ask that question. Here's why I ask, right? You can follow up and answer that one, Ralph. Most people that ask that question assume that person has like a secret sauce, right? They've got some tool that they're using, and if I just can get that tool from them or figure out, I'd just like to know what's going on in the company. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so he's on. They made an email about him first, but he is where I see that news. Yeah, they made an email about him, which they sent out to everybody that has accounts with Top One. But they also he's on X. I forget the guy's name. Kevin Deep or something like that. K Deep. Yeah, I forget his actual name, but he's all over Twitter, posting up, the accounts nonstop. He was just posting about taking a payout from his live account, like one of the first days, and then he posted this morning. I think he hit a DLL immediately, something along those lines. But obviously, he's a hell of a trader. But yeah, no, it's cool to see. Really cool to see. He's, as far as I'm aware, he's not partnered. He's not an affiliate. He's a affiliate and partner for other firms, works with guys that are affiliated, partnered with other firms, but obviously he is a serious prop trader. Watching this crack to the upside. But no, I start to ask that because I just find it funny, like if someone has a crazy run, the amount of people that are immediately looking to try to figure out what they did or how they did what they did is interesting to me. And I used to do the same thing. I used to, kind of do that strategy hop or jump around and always be focused on the new shiny thing in the room. It usually comes down to the one that I see the most is just experience. The guys that are doing the best are usually the most experienced. They've usually been here the longest. Not always. But like the dude who holds the record for the biggest payout, I think the biggest prop firm payout across firms, the Apex payout, that dude, Jade Cap, whatever his actual name is. And I get a lot of guys that say, see, ICT works so good or whatever the thing is. Dude's been trading for like 12 years, and he talks about like losing money consistently for like a lot of those years. But you get new guys that, 6 months in, they immediately want to, figure out how to do what he did. Well, trade for 12 years, trade for 10 years, put the work in, put the time in, fight through those demons, create a wild understanding of the markets. The ability to interpret price action and market structure is so strong. I have not been trading for that long, and I cannot wait to see where I am in double the time that I've been trading. You're going to be way better, right? Your read of price action and market structure, your ability to execute, it's going to be great. 55s, man. Yeah, didn't get as high of a push up as I would like to take this back down through VWAP. Again, I don't think we run the upside on this. I see the slow grind to the upside here, but I'm looking at this aggressively short, guys. Right now, we've made it back to VWAP and we're just chopping. We're sitting right at the volume weighted average price. I'm cautious of just the rapid changes in volatility that we can see, the volume that comes into this market. We're seeing a little bit of it right now. We got a little bit of volume being traded right here. But if we come up through the 60s, 65s, I could see an aggressive short off of one of those levels of liquidity. We start to sell off from here. It's going to be really choppy, and it's kind of similar to yesterday. I just won't be having my levels hit to play off the extremes, and I'll have the read of the market right, which is just chop and look for reversions off the extremes, but I won't have my entries, my way to structure risk. Yeah, this looks like we're going to come back down right now. Yeah, we'll see what FOMC day has for us. But again, guys, if I could leave you with anything, be cautious later today, right? If you're going to trade into the afternoon, even this morning, but if you're going to trade this, be cautious, man. Like someone said in the chat, structure your risk, keep it tight. Whatever trades you put on, recognize that you are trading either ahead of, during, or after a major economic news release. And it calls for accepting that risk, more so than ever. Trade, put your trades on, whatever it is, follow your approach, your system. But man, make sure that you accept whatever numbers on that stop loss plus a little bit. I think if more traders did that, we would have a lot more traders making money. Keep it from going on tilt. You can also use the risk settings in Project X if you're trading with top 1 futures. You can use the risk settings. Set your personal daily loss limit, set your personal daily profit target. Along with keeping you from going on tilt, they'll take your ass out of trades if the market starts to run. And you've got a jacked up stop or order or something like that. You don't have to do that. You don't see me doing it right here, but I think it'd be extremely helpful, especially for traders that are struggling with risk control, or taking profit and calling it a day when you're actually making money, which is another one guys struggle with. But yeah, sitting right at VWAP on this, man. Wicks to the downside, looking bullish. I like it from up here, high into this area consolidation for a move back down to VWAP, maybe back down to this area of high volume. But if we just start to slow grind up this way, I don't know. I would like it on an aggressive move, right? Because if we have this crazy impulsive move to the upside, we often see that equally to the downside. 10:15 a.m. Just gonna have to wait and see on this one. I'm not in any crazy anxious rush to trade today, guys. Again, I like to exercise more caution. And if I can have a day where I'm calmer more than aggressive ahead of a red folder news event, usually helpful. Again, no bias, nothing crazy. But I find that a lot of traders get smoked today. You will, if you keep a good feel out on social media, which I do mainly for that reason. I just like to see how guys are doing in different market conditions. Some guys will kill it. But if you keep a good feel out, like right before and after FOMC, a lot of red accounts, a lot of blown stuff, a lot of guys talking about going on tilt. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. So. Question for the 150K as I'm spilling almost on my keyboard. We only pay the 400 once, no monthly fees. Correct. So let's do it together, guys. Let's take a look. Hang on one second. I'm going to open it up while the market's not really doing too much for me. While the market's not doing anything, we will open it up together. So, okay, cool. Let's go back to the home page here. Had somebody ask about the top 1 futures account. Again, guys, if you don't know, 55% off, code RDF. I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. I can't stand to be unbiased if I stand to make money. That's not going to last for much longer. You want to take advantage, now's your shot. I'm sure they'll have some other deal running, but I think that's a pretty sweet opportunity in my humble biased opinion. So this is, make sure you guys can see it. This is top 1 futures. What we're looking at, the question was, do we have to continue to pay or this and that? I want to be clear about it. There's 2 different options, right? They have a regular challenge style. What I'm talking about, what I'm trading, what most guys are trading are this instance, or I don't know that most guys are trading, but what I see talked about a lot, what I'm talking about. The instant sim funded. No evaluation, straight to funded, commonly called straight to funded. So on the 150K, you see the price right here is $3.99, and they're showing you payout is the code for 50% off. What I'm going to show you is the sauce right here. The instant sim funded 150K. We go to checkout, and we throw in, boom. We hit apply. That brings it down to, that would suck if it didn't work live with you guys. $359.10. Anytime payouts are included. $359.10. There's no additional monthly fee. There's no fee after that. Top 1 uses Top Step X to trade. No. So, by contrary to popular belief, this is not Top Step X, my friends. This is Project X. Top Step does not own Project X, as far as I'm aware. Project X is a platform in itself. Top Step was one of the first or the first to have it. I think they had a lot to do with the development of it, and they called it Top Step X. And I think that confused a lot of people, including myself, for a long period of time, assuming that it was Top Step's proprietary platform, that this was only going to be available from them. This is available from Top One Futures. This is Project X. That's what we're looking at here. You can trade with other firms on Project X as well. But that's what we're looking at, guys. Code RDF. This is the one price. There is no additional monthly fee or activation fee. You're into a instant funded account from day one, trading towards profit that you stand to withdraw. If you follow the rules, you meet the consistency rule, you understand all of the other stuff not to do. And if you're, concerned about that, go back to the home page, which I'll do with you guys, and go to the frequently asked questions and check out the frequently asked questions. Click through everything on here. Okay, that's my recommendation for you guys. But yeah, this is Project X. This is Project X. Contrary to popular belief, Project X is a platform. It's not Top Step X, which I know confuses everybody, right? And I've said it a handful of times when I first started streaming these accounts, because I also was streaming for a long period of time, and I still do trade Top Step. Took a payout from them on Monday, hit the bank on, I think, Thursday. I was posting that. Yeah, solid. But this is Project X, and really awesome because I like this platform. Some guys don't. Some people don't. I really like this platform. I do not like to trade Tradeovate or TradingView. It was very frustrating to do. So to have another option, more options, and to also have instant funded on Project X, the platform that we know and love, I love it, man. It's really, really sweet. Also the cost of trading on it is like next to nothing when you compare it to a Tradeovate prop. I forget if it's no fees and they charge you commissions or no commissions and they charge you fees, but it's way less. If you're a scalper, somebody that trades especially micros, there's an insane difference. I was paying like a boatload trading with Tradeovate account. Not as big of a deal if you're like me on this, the way that I'm trading this right now, trading one ES contract, but scalping NQ, and that stuff adds up. So yeah, if you have any questions other than that, feel free, ask away. Morning, Zach. Joined late. Did the giveaway happen already? We did not give away any accounts yet. Did not give away any accounts yet. That does not guarantee that we're gonna give away an account, but we didn't give away anything yet. If you guys don't know, I give away accounts on these live sessions. I'm giving away multiple 50K straight to funded accounts on these live sessions. You have to be here. No purchase necessary. Form drops. I give you guys a few minutes to fill it out, and I pick someone randomly. Multiple a week, but random times, random days. That's why you got to be on here to get it. It's to support the people that are on here all the time, supporting me. So, is Project X similar and simple as Top Step X? Just got done using FundX, and it wasn't for me. Yeah, this is the so again, to clarify, it's the exact same platform. Exact same platform. To clarify, Project X is the platform. Top Step called it Top Step X, but it is the exact same platform. You will find very, very minute differences between firms, but Top One and Top Step are not the only one to operate on Project X. There are other firms that have Project X as well. So it's the same platform, right? You're just trading with a different firm on the platform, right? Kind of like if you wanted to use Tradeovate and you wanted to get funded with Tradeify and Top Step, Tradeovate's the same, right? Yeah. Again, very, very small differences because they do custom tailor things, and I think give different firms little cool pieces, but all of the risk settings are here. And if you have questions on Project X, you can click on my profile. I have a tutorial, like a 12 video tutorial series all about Project X. Everything from entering a trade, setting up the chart, setting up the components, risk settings, all different types of additional settings. Yeah, in-depth tutorial on Project X. For anybody that's listening, if you want to learn more about my chart, you want to see exactly how I set my platform up like this, my exact chart setup with settings and everything, how I enter and exit trades, how to use the risk settings, click on my profile. Tutorials for Project X are there. It's a playlist. Yeah. Yep. Coop's got it right. Same thing. Couple different things, right? Again, different ones will have very, very, very slight differences, but platform, I'm going to say like 95% is the exact same. And again, I'm biased. I really like Project X. Some people don't. They complain about fills. They think it's slow. There's definitely, wow, as we watch this push to the upside. So I'm gonna keep talking Project X as we do this, because I got a couple points that I'd like to bring up. Back and forth at VWAP. So back to VWAP and just straight consolidation here for quite a while. No real opportunity. That's why I'm just yapping here with no trade on, no trade for the session. I don't like to sit here for an hour and not make or lose any money, but I'd prefer to sit here and not just lose money, give myself the opportunity when something presents itself. And again, I talked about getting more zoomed in. I'm off the 15-minute chart. I'm looking for a higher frequency of trades. If there's nothing for me, I'm still not going to take a trade. I just, unless you just want to see, straight L's. I'll try to take a good trade and I might have to take an L, but not just going to randomly attempt to trade it. So 60, 65s to the upside. I still like that for a potential aggressive short. That's my game plan. We crack to the upside. I'm going to look to fade that back down to VWAP. We are bullish overall. It would be counter. It would definitely be counter to this session trend, starting to hold above VWAP. But I think if we crack aggressively the upside, even if we're going to continue higher, we are likely to return back down to VWAP. And I would anticipate that potentially happening after we fill some levels of liquidity up above price. 60s and 65s. That's where it's coming from. Coincides with some level of structure up here, right? Obviously, the top end of all of this choppy consolidation rangy zone area that was tested in the overnight session multiple times, right? So it's not just coming off of Bookmap. Higher area of volume up here near the 60s. If you need me to draw a level there, I can, but that's what I'm looking at. It's not a value area, anything like that. I got one of my levels jacked up here. Yeah, I got something overlapping that's not showing correctly. Oh, temporary volume point of control. That's what's showing. Okay, I got it. I was trying to figure out what the blue was that was overlapping prior week value area high, and it was just temporary volume point of control. Sorry, a little distracted there. Anyway, that's what I'm waiting on. Shorts off the 60s to 65s. I'd want to see what happens when we get up there. I'd probably enter very aggressively short, not waiting for big pullbacks. But that's what I'm looking at. We turn and burn to the downside from here. It's going to negate that. At that point, I'd look for potentially some structure, maybe to trade towards the 30s. But I'm not dying to lose money before FOMC today. So, but yeah, we were talking about Project X. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask in the chat, man. These are good questions. I love Top One. Personally, I love Project X over Trade-O-Vate. Yeah, man. I love these wicks are crazy. Yeah, back and forth barcoding at VWAP. But yeah, it's preference, right? Some people are born and raised on something, and for me, that was TradingView, right? So I really like a TradingView chart, and this is an integrated TradingView chart. The problem with trading off of TradingView using Trade-O-Vate or another broker is it lags. There's for some reason, a lag. I don't know why, but it's obvious, it's not my opinion. It's very clear cut, and it makes it difficult to trade, especially low time frames. Trade-O-Vate itself, I just can't get comfortable on it. I suck on on Trade-O-Vate. I do enjoy Tradeify as well. I'm partnered affiliated with them. I've traded with them a bit. I'm not a fan of Trade-O-Vate at all. But again, someone that primarily trades Trade-O-Vate, some of the best traders are on there, or some good, really, really good prop traders are on there. So Project X for me, really, really sweet. One thing that I just don't know why they don't have yet, two things actually that I really would like to see, would be custom bracket orders. It's very simple. It's available on almost every platform, and so I'm going to critique it if I'm going to give it praise. Custom bracket orders that, wow, man, this is volatile, guys. Yeah, we're essentially just like printing wicks here. Yeah, someone just said it, but these wicks are crazy, man. That's gnarly. That's really gnarly. Very jumpy today. So custom bracket orders, you know, OCO, one cancels the other, ATM. I don't know why we don't have that. You can utilize the risk settings for bracket orders, but it goes by dollar amount, right? So many people want to adjust by ticks or points specific to a position and enter with a take profit and stop loss custom. Technically, you can have risk. I might have a risk setting set for this. So you can enter with a stop loss and take profit, but you have to do it through the settings and then adjust if you want to increase or decrease stop loss sizing or position sizing. So I don't know why they don't have that. A couple other features just when it comes to like the types of orders that you can enter. Something that I found really, really cool that I was really made aware of over the last weekend is a way to trail in profit. And it is it's an auto break-even feature that's on Tradovate. It's pretty sweet. So I'll try to describe this. There's a trailing stop loss feature here on Project X, which is helpful. It's great. You can trail based on a set amount. That's awesome. But there's also an auto break-even feature that's missing. And what other platforms allow you to do is once a trade moves a certain distance in profit, it will move stop loss to break even automatically for you. Not trailing up as it moves, it will go auto break even. And then even further than that, you're able to set that auto break even to go into profit by a specific amount. And then even farther than that, you can set multiple levels of that. So I thought that was really, really cool. It allowed you a lot of automation when it comes to trade management. And it's something that I'm working on myself to get more structured with trade management and also testing, forward testing really, this aggressively trailing into profit on these, you know, larger size, tighter stop loss, tighter take profit trades. And you don't have to really try to time it perfectly if you have an auto break even feature that as soon as price trades to the tick that you have set, it snaps that stop loss order into profit for you. Is pretty sweet, or maybe just to break even. So couple features like that would be a critique. I don't know why they just can't develop that and add it over on the side on the order card. Seems very simple. But outside of that, you know, they've got workarounds for it, you know, to a degree, not that auto break even, but they do have trailing stop. They have the risk settings where you can enter with brackets. So you never have to enter the market without a stop loss and a take profit if you don't want to. I think that's very important. The risk settings are insane. Way, way better than anything I've ever seen. The ability to lock yourself out of trading, next level for traders that struggle with tilt. Just absolute cheat code. So, you know, I love all that stuff, but there's definitely always room for improvement on different things, right? But no complaints. A lot of guys complain about slippage and stuff and fills. I don't have that too much of a problem. If I get slipped a little bit on a fill, usually it just kind of factors itself out. I get slipped positive or negative and, you know, kind of just evens itself out. But I haven't seen anything with like crazy fills. We're very volatile time in this market right now. So across the board through all that tariff nonsense, yeah, like fills were all over the place. We're dealing with an insane amount of volatility. So, you know, you have to be cautious of that. But again, a lot of it is preference. All right, we got some questions. You can set lockout on Tradovate as well. But I agree Project X is better. I'm not a fan of Tradovate either. So here's my question on this one. Can you set a lockout so you're not able to go back in and trade it the way that you can on Project X? And can you set it so you're not able to go back in and change it while you're trading? Because Project X first, they gave us the lockout features, right? And it was like awesome. Then they made it so you can set the risk parameter where if you go down a certain amount or up a certain amount, it liquidates and locks you out. But the problem with that is people would tilt so hard that right before it hit that and locked them out, they would go back in, change the setting, remove it all, and then go and, you know, DLL or MLL the account. So I'm curious to hear if Tradovate has that. I hope they do. It would be really sweet if they do. Yes, you can set it to lockout, but you can go back in and change it before it hits. Ah, yeah. That's the killer. And as bad as that sounds, it's really key to have. Really key to have. So it's interesting. I think they're working on bracket orders. Yes, they've said they were working on it for a long period of time. So I'm not holding my breath. It's been requested for months and months and months and months. So I don't know what's taken so long to do it. You know, also opening up like API access so you can copy trade across firms that they've talked about for months. So, you know, I don't know why, because that seems like such an obvious one. But I'm not a developer or coder or understand the back end of platforms. So I'll try not to complain. But auto break even would be also really cool. Really cool. And again, that's not something that I was utilizing. And it's not even to go break even. It's to go into profit with a stop and trail, which is pretty cool. I love Project X, but lockout feature helped me from... I loved TradingView, but Project X lockout feature helped me for stop over trading. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One more question. Do we automatically get the 150 micros at purchased, or do we have to build the account to a certain point for the 150 micros to be available? No, there's no scaling plan on Top 1 futures. You have access to degenerately trade the account if you want to from day one. There is no scaling plan. On the 150K account, you can trade 15 minis or 150 micros. So they give you that full juice to work with right off the rip. Yep, but again, if you're new and you're checking it out for the first time, important to understand the consistency rule, especially if you're coming from Top Step. There's a difference between, for all of these instant funded accounts, there's a difference between the eval accounts and the consistency rule. Yes, Project X would be better with bracket orders and OCO orders. Yeah, right? Like, no brainer. Just another feature. Throw it on there, you know? A lot of people trade that way. I speak to a lot of guys that swing trade. They enter with limit orders, right? Around levels that they want to enter. And they have to manually every time do the math. If you don't trade with a fixed dollar amount stop loss and a fixed position size, and then they adjust it in the risk settings. And it's just like an extra step that's not necessary. So they have it in the risk settings. Just put it on the order card is my thought. I don't know. Again, love Project X. Super grateful. If anybody from Project X is listening, I love your platform. Please never take it away from me. I'd be really, really sad if I had to go trade another platform. It would be very upsetting. So I never want to sound ungrateful. I think it's awesome. It's super sick to have this TradingView chart with very fast data. But just additional features. And I think they'll come. Like I was talking about to Kim, or people were mentioning Precious, or, we were talking about it. They continue to add. I did say it was in the works for months and months and months, because you can see what's been recommended. But they've continued to add, right? It's only been more and more and more features. So eventually I'd be shocked, if we didn't have all of this stuff and more, right? They're just going to make the program more and more robust, but they're probably doing it slowly, dealing with any issues that they have on the front end. So guys, as I've been yapping over the market, nothing's happened here for me. We are sitting at VWAP. We are literally just chopping directly at the volume weighted average price. This is not any good trading opportunity. I would still look for an aggressive short, because I think it's likely that we continue to chop, but I don't even love it as much. We chopped around near the open with a lot of volatility, a lot of volume. We pushed back up on moderate volume, and now we just got low volume VWAP chop. This is why I'm cautious around, around these time frames. Maybe you got long from somewhere down here really aggressively. Maybe you got short for some reason up here, sweeping above this high, below, sweeping the 15-minute high and looking for a move back down, and that gave you some room to work with. Maybe you are a very, very tight range trader scalping for a couple points, and this is beautiful for you. This is what the kids call hot garbage, all right? No, it's choppy. VWAP chop, back and forth. Every few candles, we get a rapid wick in one direction, and it immediately is traded back across. This just does not provide a lot of opportunity. So I'm happy to be on. I'm going to sit and wait, because I'm going to grab a short if I can back to this area. above VWAP. Those levels of liquidity are still on the book. 65 actually got hotter, and then they pulled some. But I could see us going to grab 60, potentially 65, and then a reaction back down to VWAP. There's just not a lot that would want to pull it until we get all the way up to the 700s. And that hasn't actually lightened up. There's just more down here that's influencing the way this displays. We start to sell off from here. I don't have a trade. It would just be guessing that we sell off after hanging out at VWAP for 9 hours. So I could see this short after we fill some liquidity to the upside, take everybody out that was maybe getting short off of VWAP, fake everybody out to the upside, movement back down, pretty simple. I don't know that we grab the 65s. I could do it after a wick above the 60s. I could see that. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to stop below this level for sure. I'd actually like it above the 70s. That would be pretty sweet. But yeah, I'll hang out with you guys for a little longer. Not much going on in the market. Chopping around VWAP ahead of FOMC. Somewhat to be expected. 60s this level up here for a move back down to VWAP. That would provide nothing crazy, right? Not something that I'm gonna hold on to for a real long period of time, but that would provide an entry. Conversely, if we pull one of these movements, I don't know that I'm going to look short on it. That would really just be clean uptrend structure, and I don't want to step in front of that. I would like a push up here first because I think we are likely to do this. That's what I would see. I'd like a not sweep above this, not sweep below this level to go check out prior day point of control first. I'd like us to continue for a little bit. Give me an entry. Give me a way to structure risk. Way up here that says, hey, if we continue that far above VWAP, we're going to slowly grind, crack prior day high, and maybe we are coming up to the 700s. That's off the book, but 700s all the way up here. But so far, just VWAP chop. VWAP chop. That's what I like to call that. Oh, man. Caught a nice short on MGC. Nice 3-bar reversal earlier. Haven't seen anything on MES though either. Yeah. No, gold's been providing a lot of opportunities for gold traders, right? Crazy bull run for a long period of time. A lot of guys and girls ran up accounts trading that. This is just not too much for us here, guys. Again, I like to repeat myself, like ahead of what I'm doing, talk about it, the why, the how, all that fun stuff, so you guys can get value. Whether it's a winner or a loser, you can understand, the trade idea, and then watch it play out in real time. But that's pretty much all I could see. I'm not going to look to aggressively buy this thing. You could take it after we return down here, but if we came all the way back down to this area of consolidation, I think we're going to see the 30s and potentially lower. So I would want to only look for a really aggressive buy all the way down here. Obviously, I wouldn't be short if that happened before we reached one of these levels. So that's my play. Sit tight, wait to see if we crack to the upside. Liquidity at 60, liquidity at 65. I think we could potentially go grab that and revert back down and kind of continue doing whatever we're doing here. Just chopping around. But I appreciate you guys hanging on and hanging out. Smash subscribe if you want to chat for next time. I give away accounts on these live sessions. Gave away a 50K straight to funded account yesterday. I'm going to do multiple of those every week. I also run a 100% free trading Discord. I see we got a bunch of people that hopped on. And again, if you don't know me, if you're new, my name's Zach. I trade here on YouTube almost every damn day. Trading prop firms, showing you what real trading looks like for me. I don't claim to be the best trader in the world. I don't claim to have the magic answer, to have some amazing win rate and risk to reward, R multiple, or be on leaderboards or have all the, massive payouts. None of that stuff, man. I'll show you what real trading looks like for me. Run-ups and payouts and, tough days and losing streaks and lost accounts. Everything in between. You guys hopefully can find some value from that in a non-financial advice way, because I'm not a financial advisor. I don't make recommendations or suggestions. I'm just an idiot here on YouTube hanging out, having some fun. That's my intro. when you ask for payouts, is it the day the market closes, or can you do the, I think you meant to say, can you do it the same day? You can do it the same day with top 1 futures. I haven't taken a payout from top 1 futures yet, working towards it myself, but their rule is as soon as you qualify for the payout by way of having enough money in the account to take it, and the consistency rule, if you have anytime payouts, which is free with code RDF, you can request it right then and there. Unlike other firms where you have to wait for the day to close, come back the next day, request it, wait for it to be approved, wait for it to hit your bank account, you can request that day, and their payout speed is wild. I'm not even going to talk on it. Just hop in their Discord and check out the people that are, majority of them not partner, not affiliated, talking about when they request to when they get paid out. You can take a look at that. They also have average payout times they post. But yeah, I think that's really sweet. If you are someone that is very consistent, right? Because I think a lot of people ask those questions and they're just, they're just still losing accounts, or they're not taking payouts like more than, maybe once a month, where the anytime payouts is not even going to matter. If you're very consistent and you want to focus on that, yeah, it's advantage top 1 for sure. Fastest stuff I've seen. There you go. We got a review right here. Payout is super fast. Took mine about 4 hours to hit my bank. Fast, man. Which is the way it should be, in my humble opinion. Again, I can speak on Top Step, where I've taken multiple payouts a month. I hit a couple on 1 month this year. But just took one last week, requested it on Monday, and let me actually give you like the exact times. I posted a picture just to talk about it, which is no problem, right? Like smooth, no worries, Why can't I go to my profile? I requested on Monday, April 28th I got the email back at 1:27 p.m. if you want to be exact about it. And I got the email that the congratulations on your success at 10:48 a.m. on Thursday the 1st, and it was in my account on Thursday the 1st. So however many days that would be, Monday to Thursday. It's been slightly faster in the past, just giving them credit where it's due. Like, I think I remember getting it, I think I remember requesting it and getting it the next day. But it's also important to note, I'm a US-based trader and I'm doing ACH. So if you are not a US-based trader, if you're doing like, I don't know, I forget if it's like WISE or RISE or whatever the other weird name for payouts are with these different things. If you're doing one of those, it could be different. The first time you have to fill out forms, right? You have to fill out, different forms and stuff and get approved. So, but as far as I'm aware, with Top 1, again, not speaking from experience, but giving, giving info from my community and people that are taking it, extremely fast. You do have to get set up with, see, I messed it up. I think it's RISE for them also. People in the chat can mention, but I think it's RISE also. They also do a crypto payout. But yeah, fast as all hell. Yeah, I'm not affiliated and hit my target consistency after 6 days. Kyrie says at 9:05 a.m. this morning. Requested this morning at 10:20. Okay, awesome. Yeah, let us know. Keep me updated in Discord. Hop in Discord. More than happy to have these types of reviews, right? Also, congratulations. Like, well done. Super nice. Love to hear that. People getting paid out. Sick, dude. It's fantastic. Most people never get funded, and then even fewer get paid out. That's my free Discord, guys. Not a VIP feeder program. Obviously, I yap about all the stuff that I'm affiliated and partnered with, but more than happy to have you in there. And I love to hear like from people, just here's my experience, right? Good and bad. I think that's important. Do I have any coupons from Top Step? No, Top Step does not have any coupons. No coupons for Top Step. They used to have a bunch of partners and affiliates with different codes and stuff like that. But as far as I'm aware, there are no additional discounts outside of something that's special that comes around through email or one-off type of deal. Top Step used to do a ton of giveaways and free resets and like bell to bell and all these different things, but not from what I've seen. But I had signed up for their program a long time ago before they iced everything out. It was like a long period of time ago. But it didn't provide any additional discount for the trader. And I also just never got paid on anything. I guess I wasn't due payment on anything, but yeah. And then as far as what I've seen from them, I think they're changing a lot with their affiliate and partner program. I won't speak too much on it, but you guys can just kind of, follow the rumor mill on Twitter if you want to. I think it's a waste of time to do, but that's kind of what's gone on over there. Selling back off from VWAP. I could see us moving back down on this. Again, I've been watching this just sit at VWAP and chop. Was looking for an aggressive short if we cracked up above. We didn't do it though. Didn't do it. This is just good questions though. Good conversation. So I'll hang out with you guys, right? And honestly, like if I hopped off the live, I'm setting an alert up here and I'm setting an alert down here. I got my book map lagging out. But we didn't come up and grab that. Didn't come up and grab that liquidity. So selling off pretty aggressively here. We got some volume behind this. It's not really printing here just yet, but we got some volume behind this. Again, down to this level of high volume I could see. This is really not nice for my short that I wanted up above. Yeah, just going to sell off from VWAP. At least for right now. Let's see. Like I mentioned, if we sweep this low, hit point of control from prior day, bounce from here really aggressively to the upside, I don't like the short as much, right? Because now we pulled the wick below consolidation, right? If this is our area of consolidation, and now continue higher, that makes a stronger case for longs. But I don't know that we do that. This looks like some volume behind this. Again, I wouldn't look for it aggressively long down here. We got liquidity down below price. Not a ton, but down to the 630s. I could consider a really aggressive sweep below the lows, piss everybody off after cracking IB. No, not cracking IB high. Here's our IB high. Let's see what we get out of this movement. What copy trader do you use if you have multiple props? TradeSyncer. TradeSyncer is what I would use for multi-prop firm copying. I would be cautious. Again, affiliated and partnered with TradeSyncer. I always like to be transparent about anything that I talk about that I'm affiliated and partnered with. Here's the link in the chat. 7 days free and 10% off with code RDF. I've seen them, and here I'll always talk objectively about any company that, even if I'm partnered with them, I've seen them have quite a bit of issues. I've seen them get overloaded and them have issues back and forth. I didn't experience too much myself when I was utilizing it with Tradeify, copy trading 5 Tradeovate accounts with them. I haven't been messing with it over the last few weeks, honestly, so I will always be honest about that. But I've seen them have, some issues. So, but that, as far as I'm aware, is the best option for. It's a cloud-based trade copier with a really sweet platform. They have some protective tools, which are awesome. But you can copy trade not only one prop firm with multiple accounts, which you need a copy trader for if you're not on Project X, but you can copy trade multiple firms. You can copy trade a live account. You can put a leader account in there and copy trade multiple firms. Important to note, you cannot trade Project X. So you cannot trade, for example, Top Step on Project X and Top 1 Futures on Project X. That's what I mentioned earlier, where we wanted to trade. We wanted API access to open up so we could do that. What about NinjaTrader? Yeah, you can copy trade NinjaTrader with TradeSyncer. I'm sorry, these are all T names, like 47 T names here, right? TradeSyncer. You can copy trade Ninja across different platforms, across different firms. I'm extremely bullish on that because I think it allows you to take on much lower risk and compound growth. When you see a lot of guys with these massive P&Ls across a ton of firms, that's what they're doing. They're copy trading, right? It's pretty sweet. I would be very excited for Project X to open that up, right? I don't look at it as a way to make so much more money. I look at it as a way to put more money on the line initially and then really just spread risk by taking on much lower position size and risk in each account, allow myself to work with way more room, way more drawdown, and let the copy trading do the heavy lifting for me. Now, it's only good for a limited time, right? Because you get kicked to a live account. You got to know how to trade size and manage risk. But I think there's a benefit there. So, but anyway, I would do your own research, right? I've seen them have some issues. Watching this thing sell off here. Seen them have some issues. I'd be cautious. They have some protective features like the flatten all, cancel all, which I think is important. Watching this come down. Hang tight, guys. I see some other questions. Hold on one second. So aggressively selling off towards the 30s. Knife down. Hung out at VWAP. No indication that we were going to turn outside of just we started to sell off from VWAP. And we're coming down to trade into the 30s. I'm not going to jump in front of this, guys. This is too aggressive, but here's the trade. Here's the trade idea. Way too aggressive. I'd like to put a trade on, but I'm not going to jump in front of it. This would be the trade idea. Unless I see something on Bookmap that gives me a little bit of confidence here. Right from the 30s, dead set at 30. Actually, right there, dead set at 30. I would be looking for an immediate bounce, but this is really aggressive to step in front of. This is not a quick wick down. This is just bearish bar after bearish bar, knifing down into it. We got volume traded into this. I want to start to see some hesitation here before I look to trade something like this. Trade in value area low would be pretty sweet as well, but we may just start to sell off really aggressively here. Here's the bounce. Let's see if it would pay. And I'll tell you what I'd be looking to do. I'd be looking to go stop loss into profit as we start to come back up to this area right here. Again, just, this is the level, right? The 30s. Down below this low level of liquidity, decent round number, nothing crazy. But we got liquidity now down to the 20s. Nothing crazy down below. But this is aggressive. We're not too far off of the 5600s flat. And I don't know that I want to jump in front of this one for a bounce play. I don't know that I do. All right, we filled the 30s. Filled the 30s. Again, I'm not in a trade, guys. You'll obviously know if I'm in a trade. This is just a fun position tool that we're using. Gun to my head, that's what I'd be looking at. It would be very aggressive, and it would really just be a bounce up to this level. Tempted to try it. Looks like we might get it. Yeah, the 20s are dicey right down here as well. Getting some hesitation here, but this might come right through these lows. Yeah, this is kind of aggressive. This is kind of aggressive, boys and girls. I'm going to check. I'm going to wait to see if we get the 20s fill. Looking for a buy, really aggressively off this level that we're starting to hesitate at. I'm tempted to look for it right now, but I could see some liquidity down to the 20s on Bookmap. I'm going to be cautious of trading above that. But we might get the bounce right from this level real quick back up here. I'm going to try this one, guys. This is real aggressive. I'm going to try this to the upside. We found some support down here, so I didn't jump directly in front of this on the way down. But we do have liquidity all the way down to the 20s. All right, I'm going to be very protective with this one. I'm immediately going stop loss to break even. Immediately going stop loss to break even on this. It's very, very aggressive to buy on this move to the downside. I'm not going to let it come back down through these lows. I'm not going to let it come back down to the middle of this area. So I'm long. I know that was extremely quick. I'm long from 56.29.5 with a stop in profit by 1 tick. I want to see us return to this area of high volume on this push immediately, which we're not doing. Let's see. But I got myself into profit with ability to put risk on. I'd like a quick return up to this area. Something along those lines. But I'm going to trail myself out on this one. That's my game plan. I would just continue to move this into profit. So that's my play. We started to bounce down here, found some buyers, liquidity down here that we look like we want to go fill. So I'm not going to get long and hang on to it for forever. There we go. We start to trail into profit really, really aggressively, right? Like not allowing a lot of room to breathe. I want to see this thing pop right here up to this level where I'm going to drag my stop loss up with it. Otherwise, I'm going to get stopped out. There we go. Stopped for $100 across 3 accounts. Like extremely, I don't know whether you call that aggressive or conservative on risk management. Because aggressive, I would say, is like leave the stop loss really wide and just be aggressive. Conservative would be like protecting risk as it moves into your favor. Again, why I took that one. Watch the 30s for a long period of time, right? We had liquidity down here. Take a look at value area low from yesterday. Key level that came into play today. Does it always happen like that? Absolutely not. But tested to the tick. Buyer stepped in on multiple candles and we started to push. Why I wouldn't hold that one with a stop loss way down here the way that I did is because I'm cautious of what might happen right here. We still have a lot of liquidity down here. We came through the 30s pretty aggressively. We went and checked out the 26s. We still have a lot down below on Bookmap, which I'll show you, that I think is likely to fill. So I didn't wait to take it at the 20s. I took it above the 20s, but now I got a stop loss at a level that I think is likely to go and get hit. So just not something that I would want to leave on to go and grab that. I think we're likely to go tag it right now, and I might be looking for another long. So and I'd be back in drawdown right now. So we'll watch how that happens, right? We might just bounce here again and blast to the upside. But I think we're going to go trade out the 20s. And I was able to aggressively grab $100. Is that much of anything? No. It's about break even for the amount of risk that I'm putting on these accounts. So here we go. Breaking the low. Trading out the 20s. And I know you guys had good questions in the chat. I'm going to talk to you. I want to see what happens down here. I'm tempted to play this again. This is counter. This is very counter, obviously, to this movement. But I don't see this as a directional day. I don't see this, price action and structure that we're likely to just start selling off and, start coming below prior day low. I think we're just going to chop. I think this is just going to be really frustrating, annoying, back and forth chop before FOMC. Obviously, we got something that the market is interpreting as negative, at least for right now. But I could see us filling these 20s down here and then a quick bounce right back up above these highs to piss everybody off. So I'm going to watch this level down here. I'll mark it. See, yeah, I mean, again, I'm interpreting this based on my price action and market structure read. This could run, right? This could just start to absolutely dump, and we could see a lot of positioning ahead of this FOMC just a couple hours out, where it's risk off, and we got a lot of selling pressure in the U.S. indices. That could be, or just technically speaking, we could just sell off. We came and hung out at VWAP. Sellers took it a ton lower. Buyers nowhere to be found until this level, like nowhere to be found, not even through, this area consolidation. Bounced here very, very quickly. Didn't give me a lot of opportunity. Capitalized on a little bit of what it did. And, here we go, selling off back down towards the 20s. This would just be a sweep of liquidity that I'd be looking to play as buyers stepping in, but I don't know that I want to step in front of this again. I don't know. 5,600 could be a target down here. Yeah, I'm going to watch this one play out, guys. I might not. I might not. But, you know, you take what the market gives you, right? I don't force anything to happen. I put my risk on in a pretty consistent way. The way that I'm managing these trades is definitely different than what you've seen me do on the 15-minute. It's much more aggressive. I'm forward testing that, but I'm going to do that consistently and take what the market gives you. If it's a stop out, if it's small profit, if it's large profit because the bad boy just knifes in my direction, you know, you just stay cool with that. So not hitting the 20s, finding buyers down here around this value area low from yesterday. Obviously a level that's coming into play today. So we'll watch what happens down here. Can you explain the difference between Elite Challenge and Instant Sim Fund? Yeah, the Elite Challenge is the challenge account where you have to pass the test, pass the evaluation before you get funded. The Instant Funded is exactly what it is. It sounds like it's an instant funded account. I won't bore you with a lecture reading off of the site. Go directly to the site, which I'll drop again for you guys, and you know, read through this. Read through each individual one. Use code RDF to get 55% off. Remember, I'm affiliated partnered. I cannot stand to be unbiased. And then go to the frequently asked questions page. Frequently asked questions page is the same at Top Step and Tradeify and all these firms. That's where they have all of the detailed information with examples. And if you get through reading all of that and you actually take a second, then hop into their Discord. But I see like their Discord, it's funny because their mods are great, but all of these prop firms Discords, it's like, how much money do I need to make to take a payout? What if I do this? What if I do that? And I'm like, you're not going to stand a chance to make money consistently if you're not even willing to read the rules, you know? So I'm not saying that's you, because we've been talking prop firm stuff on here. But go to that site, read through the differences, read through the frequently asked questions, and then if you have another question, feel free to hit me up. I'll try to help you out. That's a knife. Yeah, it was a knife. Nice catch, run baby run. Yeah, man. It was a good entry, right? Decent entry. I just didn't push. So I like my trade management. Technically, I wouldn't have been stopped out yet. I'd be sitting around break even, but I would not have wanted to be long as this broke the low again. So let's see if we get down around the 20s, or if we start to just chop back up here, and this is all it's gonna do. We'll see how that trade management plays out, right? Because so far, technically, I'd still have risk on and be below break even, right? Because here was my trade somewhere up here. Stop loss down to the 20s. You ever get worried about the 10-second rule when you go to stop loss to break even so quick? I do think about that. So top one futures, as do many other, especially instant funded firms. I shouldn't say that, just as do other firms. They have a minimum trade duration rule. So there's a 10-second hold time. But why I don't worry about it is I don't think I'm going to have a lot of trades that end up being profitable with 10 seconds of trade time. It's excusable, coming down to break the low again. It's excusable if it's infrequent. They're pretty clear that it is not a hard rule that they fail your account or they take profit out or anything like that. I believe, and based on conversations that I've had asking, they're looking to prevent people from running bots and EAs and also just being absolutely hyper scalpers, tick scalpers, because that gets difficult to manage on the back end when you get to a live account if you're doing that profitably. And so if it happens infrequently and it's clear that that's not your primary approach, that like, let's say more than a quarter or 20 or 50% of your profit is coming from that, I think you're going to be okay. If it's happening all the time and or most of your profit is coming from it, I think you should not, you should pick a different firm other than Top One. It's just not going to work with you. Tradeify's rule on that is 50% or more of profit has to come from trades held from 5 seconds or longer. Top Step does not have one as far as I'm aware. So, but yeah, so like if that one, ticked me out at break even or $12.50, in like 8 seconds, am I really worried about that? No, I'm not. But it can be something to be concerned about for sure. If you're a really aggressive scalper, and you're primarily in and out of trades in a couple seconds, like it's gonna be a problem for you. Not gonna be a good fit. But that's the reason you read through, do your research, kind of understand, what the rules and regs are. This looks like it wants to pop, man. Are we gonna head back up to this area? I think we're going to check out the 37s before we head lower. I'm not gonna jump into this, but this could be a pop to the upside out of this consolidation. Not my play, right? I want the initial test and then a reversion. I don't want to buy out a consolidation after a massive sell-off, which is why I would potentially aggressively buy after more selling pressure down here like we're getting. This is why I didn't buy right here. But it looked like we might pop towards this area, right? This consolidation from the open area of high volume. Still could, but we're definitely chopping around here. Key level, value area low. If you want to know how I find those, feel free. Watch the latest video on volume profile. It's on my channel, dropped today. But any other questions, man, feel free. You guys have, questions about top one and my chart setup, that fun stuff, anything to do with trading, really. Sometimes I get some really weird questions, but happy to talk trading with you guys. As I'm trying to debate whether or not I would want to take this after a sweep of that low. I don't know. It's pretty aggressive selling pressure. I'm not convinced that we run to the downside today, but it's making the case for it right now. I could see this being a very difficult to work with, frustrating move where we come down, break the lows from the morning, and then pull all the way back up to VWAP. I could see us probably coming down through the 20s first, since there's just still liquidity on the book here that we didn't go and grab. But now it looks like we want to pop. Seller's not taking it lower yet.
For the ones who get it.
Chopping down around this value area low. Just checking a couple messages, guys. See if we got anything crazy going on. See if we got anything too crazy going on ahead of this FOMC. Again, if you guys hopped on late and you're not aware, FOMC at 2 p.m. and then the corresponding press conference at 2:30 p.m. Be real cautious if you're trading into that. That's what I would recommend. Yeah, this could go if it breaks. We do have liquidity back up at the 50s, 55s around VWAP. So we got sellers anticipating a move back up there. But closer to the downside, we do have the 610s and the 5600s. That could be the play, but I think I'm going to have to take an L finding out if we're going to bounce, which is a fun way I like to phrase that. The cost of finding out if my trade is going to work is 500 Monopoly dollars in these top one futures instant funded accounts. And I think I might have to take that around the 20s. We really chopped here for a long period of time. This could be the next leg down. But before that, I might try to fade this. I'm watching what happens here on Bookmap. Going to look to read order flow to the best of my abilities. We definitely have a gap in between the 610s. My stop loss would be at a pretty clean level of invalidation, which would be into the 610s. If we move through that, I think we're going to check out the 600s. So here we go. Coming to trade out the 20s. Did we hit it? We did trade it out. Damn, Bookmap, what's up with the sketching out on me here? Got buyer stepping in, 885 down at the 615s. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I was tempted to buy right off this level here, the 620s. Kind of manage the trade, manage the trade the way that you saw me manage the last one, really aggressively. Looking for a crack back up after this level of liquidity. We got to pause here, but I don't know that I want to step in front of another one. 610 stacking up, orders to the downside, 605, 600. Yeah, I'm not going to get in front of this one. I still think we could bounce from here. If we're going to bounce after a sweep of the low, you know, this looks like it. But what's going to keep me out of this one, too much now down below price. We got too much reason to move lower. We've been coming through levels of liquidity and continuing to check out the ones down below. 5,600, nice big round psychological number. If we are actually going to sell off, I think that's where we're headed, and we could do it really quickly. So I'm not in at 620. That's the last spot that I could see for a buy play on this. Looking for a sweep back up, looking for a reversion back towards VWAP. For that type of move. So on that note, guys, no giveaway today. Surprise. Because I see you guys asking how to participate in the giveaway. You got to be here. Random days, random times. I drop the form. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Small trades trailed out in profit for $109 across 3 accounts. Remember, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do is financial advice. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'll be here with you guys. Oh, excuse me. Let me finish. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop from accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like code RDF. After I watch this bounce from the 620s, my level's holding up. That'll be a risky play, though. I'll be here with you guys live the rest of the week, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Hop in the free Discord if you're not already. Be more than happy to have you in there. Giveaways on the lives here, random days, random times. You got to hang out with me like you guys did today for a chance to win. Maybe tomorrow. We'll have to see. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for being here. I'll watch this move play out, but already watching this 620, it didn't even trade out. So I don't know that I would actually ever get a fill if we don't even trade the 20s out. But an immediate 8.5 point bounce, back up through value area low. Simple levels of liquidity, guys. Simple levels of liquidity. In any event, I appreciate you guys. I will talk to you soon. Trade safe. If you're trading into this afternoon, be cautious, man. Be cautious. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.